If you're following Johnny and Amber and events around them after Virginia, you probably know the one thing Amber's got left is Aquaman 2. This here's from October 30th, 2023, from The Guardian. It's called Something Fishy. What's the real story with Amber Heard and Aquaman 2? Now, I haven't read it, but I have to guess that they don't actually know. I'm also going to guess they probably Frankensteined a lot of news from the last week or two and made an article. The Guardian has usually been kind of on Amber's side. Just for some context, let's see what they got. The director says her character was never intended to feature in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The studio claims a lack of chemistry, but fans can't help but suspect the actor's public shaming is to blame for her greatly reduced role. Well, I would hope it was. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there getting punished, careers taken, music careers taken, podcasts taken, YouTube channels taken for allegations alone with nothing proved. So you'd hope if she did something that was proved to be wrong, then that would affect her career. That would seem just to me. What's the truth about Amber Heard and Aquaman 2? Was her widely muted leading role in the movie reduced because she had no chemistry with Jason Momoa's sometime King of Atlantis? Or was it due to media fervor surrounding her legal battles with Johnny Depp, as the actor herself testified at trial May last year? I don't know, Guardian. You tell me. Either way, we know the second and most likely final solo Aquaman film does not focus on Heard, but instead a messy, shoehorned bromance between Aquaman and his half-brother, Patrick Wilson's Orm. So they're pretty negative there about it not featuring Amber. Messy, shoehorned? It might be. There's reshoots and things, but no one's seen it yet, so how can you say? It is a weird storyline, given this pair spent most of the previous movie hating on each other, but that doesn't mean it was only cooked up so Warner Bros. Could push Heard out of the picture. Aquaman has reportedly had numerous reshoots, but surely they didn't involve changing the whole plot of the movie. Well, I personally like that. The bad guy in part 2 comes back as one of the good guys. It's been done plenty of times before. It's pretty common, actually. Not something to actually bash on, I don't think, especially since we haven't seen it yet. Not that I'm hoping it does good, but as far as this specific aspect of it, nothing wrong with that. And they say James Wan was interviewed recently and that he doubled down and said, this is how the story was supposed to be all along. From a creative standpoint, it makes sense. Why do the same thing over again? Why continue a love story in a superhero action movie? Those are usually on the sideline anyway. And they go over what James Wan said about how Amber wouldn't really know what it was supposed to be like, and Amber was talking like, well, it should have been this, should have been that, my character this, my character that. Well, no. As James Wan said, actors aren't in the head of the director. In this case, he meant Amber wasn't in his head, so how could she know? And that's a fair point too. They mention Men in Black. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying about it. Okay, some kind of analogy. So wherein lies the truth? Even Heard's most hardcore fans would struggle to argue other than that her performance in the original Aquaman was a little bloodless, a CGI-fueled nullity. Well, I don't know about that. A lot of them say she's the queen. But whether this was really the actor's fault, given she was on screen to provide a foil to Momoa's boisterous, fish-blokey heroics and not much more, is open to question. Moreover, if ropey performances in Wan's film always lead to cast members being downgraded for the sequel, you would have to wonder why the equally wooden Nicole Kidman and Tamura Morrison are both returning as the King of the Seven Seas, mom and dad. Wait, did you see how they worded that? Nobody said this is what Wan always does. They got to use the word if they always lead to prevent you from thinking, oh, if they did it to Amber, they should have done it to those characters too. No, there's no rule set in stone. Maybe Amber's character, Mera, wasn't important, but Aquaman's mom and dad were. Despite Aquaman's impressive box office return, it's not exactly a film known for its performances. Yeah, fair enough. Most people don't go to superhero movies to watch the great range the actors have and things like that. They then say there was a letter sent to Amber's lawyer, that there was a lack of chemistry with Momoa, and also former DC Films chief Walter Hamada testified in 2022 to that same extent. But nobody else involved in Aquaman, an incredibly successful film, lest we forget, despite all DC's travels since 2018, has been sidelined in the full glare of the media. No one else has been so publicly shamed, for which fans of the actor's ex-husband are largely responsible, of course. Okay, so there's no responsibility on Amber's part. The responsibility is on the fans of Johnny, of course. See what I mean about The Guardian? Wherever you stand on the herd depth cubic curve, and whether you think the actor was an asset to DC or not, things feel wrong. Perhaps it's to be expected given the subject matter, but there's definitely something fishy going on. What the fuck? What feels wrong? Okay, let's just say it. So Johnny got canceled from movie franchises for allegations alone. Marilyn Manson, on allegations alone, had his music career seriously disrupted. Russell Brand, for allegations alone, had his YouTube channel, which is huge, demonetized. Amber Heard, who actually went to court and was found guilty, shouldn't face a punishment? That's ridiculous. So the fishy thing that's going on is, what's up with the double standard? That's the fishy thing. It's beyond obvious that since these men suffered serious consequences on allegations alone, that if someone was actually proved in court to have done something wrong, they should face consequences. It doesn't get more simple unless you're the Guardian and you've got your political motives behind it. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Doing shout outs, special thanks, pop culture. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.